NBA Today starts right now. Welcome to NBA Today. I'm Malika Andrews, joined by Richard Jefferson, Kendrick Perkins, Zach Lowe. Real quick, before we roll the highlight, in one word, how would you sum up, Zach, the Warriors' performance last night?
Just shellacking, I guess.
Shellacking?
Just shellacked them.
Is that okay? Okay. Richard, one word.
Scary.
Scary.
Yeah, scary. Scary.
Yeah, I'm not.
Let's do it, bro.
The highlights. Let's take a look at the highlights. Steph Curry and the Warriors taking on Kevin Durant and the Nets, and it was scary hours for an entirely different reason, Richard.
No, it was impressive. Watching Steph and KD go on it, because that's what everybody wanted to see. Everyone wanted to see these two high-scoring individuals that do it in an efficient variety of ways. And look, Steph was knocking down threes. The bench knew. When Steph gets into this mode, look, over two guys from deep, there's no way to guard that.
Well, and the crowd appreciated that. When he went to the line, take a look at what the Barclays Center crowd was chanting. There was some MVP chants there.
The Warriors, the Lakers, the Knicks, they have fan bases. They travel. That's fine.
That's
okay.
embarrassing for the Nets.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I've heard LeBron get chants in the Garden.
Well, let's take a look at the third quarter then, because the third quarter, that is where the Warriors, they thrive. They have a plus 107 point differential in the third. That's the best in the NBA.
No, it is. And this is what happens. The Warriors wear you down. You might be able to do it for one quarter or two quarters, but the way they wear you down is so impressive to maintain guarding and chasing. And look, let's just be really honest. They could not match that offensive firepower that the Warriors were throwing at them. Lack of transition, lack of communication. The Brooklyn Nets had multiple areas where they were just efficient. And look, when you're the leading scorer in the league, goes 0 for 8 in the third quarter, the game is not going to look good.
And 0 for 4 when Draymond Green was the primary defender. So 6 seconds left in the third, and then this just happens.
Sure.
I mean,
why not?
Look, that's the type of night that you were going to have. Even my guy Iggy is shrugging his shoulders. He's like, hey, whatever.
Guy.
That's my guy.
Okay.
Yeah, Arizona. Bear down. Yeah, bear down.
Well, then in the fourth quarter, Warriors up 18 and deep.
And look, what are you going to do? Look, at this point in time, it was
drive home.
Drive
37
home
points for Curry. Warriors blow out the Nets. Here's Steve Kerr afterwards.
After all these years, what makes the system so difficult to defend?
Steph Curry. There's never been anybody like him. So he's an offense by himself. When you're winning and you get the incredible display of skill from Steph, people are going to watch.
Into the hands of Curry. Oh, rattles one home. Steph Curry is in his bag.
We're on the road on the away team, and they're cheering for us. I guess, that's a perk to having Steph on your team.
Lee looks for someone, finds the right someone, and Curry knocks it down. What a night.
I mean, he's a master at what he does. That's what you get, every night as a player like that, playing at MVP, Hall of Fame level, you got to respect it.
So there's a whole lot to unpack in this one, and we'll get to all of it. The Warriors' third quarter, what happened to the Nets in the second half because they just disappeared, and even Klay Thompson getting closer, ever so close to returning. But we have to start with Steph. His 37 points elicited those MVP crowd chants that we already heard. But Richard, what was the most impressive part of Steph's night?
We could talk about Steph. I really think the most impressive thing that I saw, and I know I'm going to answer a completely different question, was the coaching. I thought the coaching was amazing. The defense that they put out, on the Brooklyn Nets, I think that freed up Steph a lot to just run around. They weren't trying to pick on Steph because they were running triangle and twos. They were running these zones. When Steph has that extra gear on the offensive end because you can't really attack him on the defensive end, his offensive numbers go through the roof, and it just becomes even more impressive.
Perk was noting that on Twitter.
Yeah, but I'm gonna answer the question.
That's you.
Like in school, I actually,
the
listening.
That I wasn't. Next week. Can you guys actually swap?
Yeah, it's all good. But here's the thing about Steph, right? His sense of urgency.
Yeah.
And we all know, right? We could watch Steph and the Golden State Warriors play, and we know when Steph he's there, but he's not all the way there. But, watch him guard James Harden on this play, his defense. We know he can make shots, but him paying attention and getting down and dirty. Look, not fouling, active hands into James Harden. James Harden was trying to go into his bag and dive on. Yeah. And so when I watched Steph last night, I could see it in his eyes because usually he'll have a few turnovers that you'll be like, Steph, why did you throw that? It wasn't like that last night. He wanted this game.
Oh, he wanted that game.
What stood out to you, Zach?
Nobody plays like Steph Curry, and nobody has ever played like Steph Curry, running around like that, drawing attention all over the floor, 2 guys chasing him wherever he goes.
3 guys.
The secret sauce for the Warriors, we all pay attention to the long threes, the Splash Brothers, even their defense. The secret sauce for them has been that they get to the rim a lot. They're 5th in shots at the rim this year, 4th in shooting percentage at the rim, and that's because 3 dudes are chasing Steph at half court, and guys like Kevon Looney are like, oh, cool, I'll just dunk. Draymond, I'll just dunk. Andre, I'll just dunk. And they get to the rim a lot because of him and the way he plays, which is a singular style in the NBA.
So is he just the ultimate space creator? Is that just like a prototype that you replicate it?
Think about Damian Lillard. He doesn't move around like Steph. He can shoot like Steph from long range. He doesn't move like that. I say normal rules of spacing do not apply to the Warriors because of Steph. They can play 2 or even 3 non-shooters and still get looks at the rim, still get good looks because of him and also Clay.
And that's the secret sauce, the secret Steph. And we spend time talking about Golden State's offense, but their defense has been on full display, especially last night. Zach, there was one specific sequence that you wanted to highlight. What was it?
Yeah, I just love this clip that we're going to hopefully play. Kevin Durant tries to fool the Warriors defense by rejecting a screen right here. He's got Andre on him. Draymond reads that, switches onto him. Andre reads that, switches out, and then the play dies. And look how they react to it. The play dies, and Draymond's excited. Andre pumps his fist. They have this moment of high-fiving because you may not realize it. The fans may not realize it. Those two of the smartest guys to ever play this game, realized, oh, we had like a little emergency brewing. We saw it right away. We switched it on the fly. We snuffed it out. High five. I love little moments like that. That's a sign of like a healthy team culture. They take pride in that little stuff that maybe we don't even notice watching the game.
Doing the little stuff, doing the dirty stuff. That was what.
Oh, let me try this new thing.
Boy, careful.
Let me try this new thing. Walk with me. Walk with me. Look, RJ he can't stand it. We talking about defense. Shout out to Ron Adams and Mike Brown. Pause it. You cannot tell me that the Golden State. Yeah, they can. Listen, right here. You can't tell me this is not film room. Look what Andrew Wiggins is doing with James Harden. No, it wasn't. It was a good challenge on his left side. Same scenario, different person, right? Look at it. Close the gap. James Harden rise up. I'm going to contest. Yes, he's left-handed. I get it. But this is something that they studied in the film room. Same different person, Otto Porter, same challenge, same results. You're looking at it right now. You cannot tell me that they wasn't in that bag. Look, Mike Brown on the sideline. I pay attention to everything. He called diamond, showing different zone coverages, showing different defensive. Look, Steph Curry, everybody's alert. They all the focus on James Harden. Make other guys beat us. They can't do it. Golden State win.
Golden State won handily. And
it was pretty impressive. Not gonna lie.
His telestration or that?
No, the game. His telestration.
That's why he wants to be a part of it.
He wants double checking.
That was impressive.
That was impressive. And the win was impressive. And yes, the Nets, they did not have Joe Harris, but leading up to this game, we billed it as a possible finals preview. And after it was over, Brooklyn actually used it as a measuring stick.
I just don't think we're in that category yet. We got a lot of work to do. We're trying to, improve as a group, get better, and hopefully we can find a way to overcome some of our deficiencies by the end of the year.
The goal is to be the best team at in the season and in the postseason. That's the goal. We're probably not. We're probably nowhere near it. But it's a long season for us to get better, and we will continue to get better.
That's a team that you look at and. You take a lot from that as a team and understand that's the level you want to get to.
All right, so Richard, I want to start with you here. You heard Steve Nash say the Nets just aren't in the same category as the Warriors. What say you?
I think right now that's true. I think right now, when you look at the way that, the Brooklyn Nets are constructed, and what I loved when I talked about coaching is like the way the Warriors played, and they didn't play Bledsoe. They made it so you had to go small, so they couldn't play LaMarcus Aldridge. LaMarcus Aldridge did not play much because there was no one out there for him to guard. When I look at what the Brooklyn Nets are, their team is not constructed the way they thought their team was going to be constructed. We know why, but ultimately no Joe Harris, and then they only had Patty Mills to help space the floor, and so they just ran zone against those boys, and they had no answer. I was actually surprised that they pulled out these stops to kind of show a little bit of their hands. I'm not saying that the finals preview, but it is interesting to see the type of defenses that the Warriors are capable of doing already, especially with all the young guys.
Well, to be honest, no one in the NBA is on the same level as the Warriors right now.
I agree.
But I want to get to a point that you just brought up with LaMarcus Aldridge. And I want to point out Steve Nash. And I hate to do this because he's a second-year coach, but I got to call it a spade is a spade and a heart is a heart, all right? So when you think about Steve Nash and the way that he coached the game last night, Steve Kerr, Mike Brown, Ron Adams ran circles around him and his coaching staff. Like, LaMarcus Aldridge was basically the third option for the Brooklyn Nets over their win streak, right? You look at Kevin Durant, James Harden, LaMarcus Aldridge was coming in off the bench. You have to slow the game down. You cannot play Warrior-style basketball and try to beat them at their own game. You're going to lose. So the fact that LaMarcus Aldridge didn't get a minute in the first half was beyond me.
And he's got the second highest per on their team. That means he is impacting them in so many different ways. When he scores 20 points, I've seen this before when they play their, small ball and do that. They literally took the third best player for the Brooklyn Nets out of the game and didn't even boo it. And Steve Nash conceded before the game even started. That's a tough one.
Well, I was going to say, Perk, I sympathize with what you're saying. LaMarcus has been great, but what happened when they brought him in the game? Steph was like, oh, LaMarcus is on the floor. Where is he? Bring him up to me. 3.
Yeah, but Zach, at that point in time, as a player, your mental is gone. Like you've been in the rotation, you've been featured in the offense, and then all of a sudden you get to this game and you don't touch the floor in the first half.
That's fair.
Mentally, it's like, okay, you throwing me out here now. It's like
push-pull.
Yeah, and as a player, if we've been doing this with success, let us go fail. Well, let us go fail, or let me go out there, let them attack me in the first half, and then you don't play in the second. Maybe I post up. Maybe I get Draymond in foul trouble. Maybe he can be dominant. And I understand that this is a part of it. We've seen it. Remember Channing Frye. Channing Frye could not play in the NBA Finals because the Warriors, the minute they saw him going, they would take out their big and put smalls in. And so it's just like, it was just more of like how they attack bigs. The Warriors do a better job of taking out the bigs better than any team I've ever seen.
Well, so we have to ask the question then, because we're talking about the Brooklyn Nets. We're taking a look at the coaching. Are you making a phone call to Kyrie Irving after this loss and saying, we need you, bro?
No, that's not.
We need you.
This ain't going to happen.
Do I still have Kyrie Irving's number? Has he changed his number? Have I lost his number?
Well, can they be a winner without him?
This is not about basketball for Kyrie. We need to understand. This is look,
and that's fine.
This is not about basketball. So nothing that happens on the basketball court is going to tug on his heartstrings.
That's totally fine. But talking about basketball, because that's what we do, looking at this Nets team now, is the maestro needed out there? Is that the ingredient? That we have the Warriors secret sauce. Zach just poured it all over our burgers, but what about for the Nets?
Well, the genius of Kyrie with their team last year was that he was not the maestro. He could stand off to the side and catch and go on the move and take over when they needed him to take over here and there. But, look, the Nets are a big three. That right now is a big 1.75 maybe. KD is KD. James is not James yet. Let's be honest. He's still not James. The first step is coming. The finishing and the last step doesn't look like it's there. Kyrie's absent. Obviously, Joe Harris is a big deal for them because then they're playing Bruce Brown and Bembry together with maybe even a third non-shooter. That screws up their offense. But they don't look like the team they were last year because they're missing a key piece, and James isn't James.
But that's the problem when you are so top heavy. When you invest into three guys like they did, giving up Karis LeVert, right? Not bringing back Spencer Dinwiddie, not bringing back.
But they're not top heavy, Perk. They're not top heavy because once you get past those three, you get to LaMarcus Aldridge, you get to Joe Harris, you get, and I know some of those guys are older, but those lower level guys, those guys are very, very good.
They're not better than the team that they just faced in their role. But I'm trying to tell.
Agreed, but your idea was that you were going to have three. Now you have 1.75, and then LaMarcus Aldridge and those guys.
If you listen for a second, that was Malika point when she was trying to ask, should you get on the phone and call Kyrie Irving? And the answer is hell yeah, because they need him. Especially if they're trying to win the title.
What world do we live in? There's like, Kai, did you see the game last night? We need you to show up. They're not throwing up any bad symbols. Like I said, this is not about basketball for Kyrie, so nothing that happens on the basketball floor is going to affect Kyrie's decision. In my personal opinion, this is not from him speaking to him, just from watching and knowing him.
Sure, it might not affect his decision, but it could affect how the Nets feel about where they are as a team at this point, because we're getting to the point where we have enough of a sample size to say, okay, this is, you heard James Harden say we have all season, but that continues to shrink, and they're going to need to start picking something up. But you guys want to talk a little bit more about this game later in the show?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
D. Zach, did you think that he could carry the Clippers like this?
Paul George, I was optimistic about. What I didn't expect was, you know who's number 2 in defense in the league behind Golden State?
Who?
These Los Angeles Clippers.
Shout out Ty Lue.
Okay, T.
Didn't expect that.
9-1. I've always said I think he's better as a 1A than as a 1B. He plays more dominant with more confidence.
I
say it all the time.
I never heard you say
Well, then you don't listen
Well,
enough.
let's go over to Utah and see what he says. Bojan Bogdanovic went for a season-high 27 points to pace the Jazz in an easy 35-point win. Philly's now lost 5 straight without Joel. So is this more about the Jazz or more about Philly, Perk?
It's about Utah. They had lost their identity for a while, and I thought this game was a good game for them to get it back on both ends of the floor.
Well, and they seem to, although it was against a shorthanded Philadelphia team, but they looked pretty good. And then Zion Williamson, he's been cleared to participate in one-on-one contact drills. Remember, Zion had surgery on his right foot.
You got that baby fat up off of him, huh?
I know, he's looking less like you and more like a basketball player.
We're bringing in NBA reporter Andrew Lopez, who is based in New Orleans. He's joining us now, and conditioning has been a hurdle for Zion. Andrew, what steps remain to get him back on the court?
Yeah, well, the one-on-one is a big step. That means he can go through contact and then progress to more full-team drills. That'll be the one-on-one, then the 2-on-2, 3-on-3. There is another set of scans next week on next Wednesday, actually. So 1 week from today, that will determine whether or not he can progress to full-team drills. And then it's the next step before we'll see when he makes his debut.
Okay, so he's going to get another set of scans, and that could potentially give us a little bit more of a clearer timeline. So New Orleans is 2-13 right now. Is that adding any urgency to this process of getting Zion back, Andrew?
I don't think so. I think they're very much treating this the way they did 2 years ago when he tore his meniscus prior to his rookie season. Remember, they started that year 6-22. They're mid-December, they were 6-22. Eventually, he comes back January 22nd, and they put themselves in position to make a push at the end of the season. They were 3.5 games back when the season was suspended because of COVID. So I think they're very much treating it like that time. They want him to be healthy, in full go, and clear all their return to play protocols before they get him back on the court, not because of their record.
Clearing all those return to play protocols. But again, it sounds like we're going to have a little bit more information after those scans next week. Thank you so much, Andrew. Coming up, Giannis caused a stir with some recent quotes in GQ. We'll discuss next on NBA.
The Milwaukee Bucks are NBA champions once again. The Greek Freak is a Greek NBA champion.
Milwaukee, we did it, baby. We did it.
How ready do you feel for you and the Bucks to have a repeat run?
Whatever happened in the past is in the past. Gotta focus on now.
Tenacity mixed with my self-control ensures that I have the thoughts of a champion on this road.
Are we satisfied? I'm not satisfied.
So here's the thing about Giannis, though. His superpower is that he is never satisfied. He's meticulous. He's relentless. Even in his pregame schedule, it's a science. And what we just heard right there was after he won his first title. But about an hour after that, he told me that that's the messed up part about his brain. He was already thinking about how he could do it again, and the sweat had barely dried. So then in a wide-ranging interview with GQ that came out recently, Giannis talked about what winning a championship meant to him last year and what it could mean for his future in Milwaukee. He said, "I just love challenges. The next challenge, it might not be here. Me and my family chose to stay in this city that we love and has taken care of us for now. In 2 years, that might change." But remember, Giannis Antetokounmpo is in the first year of a 5-year, $228 million contract. That's the largest in league history, negotiated by Alex Saratsas. So he's under contract for quite some time. But let's be Goldilocks here, Perk. Is this a big story, a little story, a medium story, a just right story?
Well, anytime we're talking about a big-time athlete like Giannis Antetokounmpo, you like how I
I'm
said
impressed.
Like,
I'm so impressed.
I know. Hey, give me some.
I didn't think you were going to make it.
It's good, though. I've been working on it. But look, anytime it's big news, right? Because here's the thing. What, Richard?
No,
go ahead. It is. No, I want you to.
It's going to come to me.
Okay, cool. But it's big news, and here's why. Because he's a big-time player. We're talking about the Finals MVP. And what I'm taking from his quotes are that don't be surprised in a few years if he wants to reach that B, right, that billion. And the only way he's going to reach $1 billion is by getting out of Milwaukee. And it has nothing to do with between the lines. It has everything to do with your personal brand outside of basketball.
I'm about to call him
and that
out.
means going to a bigger market.
Okay, no. Let me go. Let me go for a second. When you
Please.
walked in the building this morning, and I was like, yo, do you see the Giannis stuff? He's like, what's the Giannis stuff? We show you the quote, and your exact words were like, oh, that's nothing. Now you're going to get up here. You was there. Thank you.
Yeah, because
Thank you, Zach. No.
Because
I didn't mean to hit you.
Because here's the thing, right? I didn't want y'all stealing my material.
Oh, here we go.
I didn't want y'all stealing my material.
So then let me give you the honest truth. Now that, listen, he's going to tell you everything that you need to know but the truth. And this is what I'm going to say. Milwaukee Bucks fans, relax. As players, we are taught to keep a level of contact. I'm staying here forever. Don't say that. It doesn't matter who you are as a player. For the most part, you don't want to do that. You want to put yourself in a position with flexibility. And a lot of things, when you say things, there's context behind them. He was like, right now, he should always keep the franchise on edge, because that's how they're always going to go into this. That's how they're going to go into the tax. That's how they're going to do the things, give away picks. He needs to make sure that they are putting the best team. The minute a team feels a player is comfortable, then they stop being nearly as aggressive. So I think that is all this is. He's not going anywhere. He's got 5 years left.
No, but do you think he was thinking about the franchise when he actually was doing this interview? No. When they asked him a question, he probably was thinking about his personal brand. That's all I'm saying. So do you agree with this? Do y'all agree with this? He said in 2 years things might change.
And they might not change. So we can focus on the might not or the might.
Are you focusing on the might or the might not?
First of all, you need to separate these two. Second of all,
you
started this with Goldilocks, right? Goldilocks, here's what I'm doing. I'm taking the porridge and I'm throwing it against the freaking wall. Because for 2 years, every time Milwaukee Bucks fans turned on the TV, all they had to hear about was everything except how good their team was. They had to hear about he's going to Golden State. He's going to the Lakers. What about the Knicks? What about this? Everything about, oh, hey, they're number one in the East. That's pretty cool. Let's talk about that. So I'm not doing it. He's on the contract for 4 more years. I don't disagree with you that the comments are interesting. I can't engage. I
didn't say the comments. He said it.
I said I agree with you.
Sitting up here talking about thank you and hallelujah. I'm saying
we're taking a look. Well, thank you, Perk. The only reason that I think we're taking a look at this, right, is specifically the timestamp that was given, right? And this was a fascinating article, by the way, Bucks fans. Go and read it. It is interesting. It is a wide-ranging piece that talks about Giannis's mentality. And his mentality is this: I always want to win. I want to be challenged to win constantly. So, in some ways, he ticked off the first challenge, and now he's looking for the next one. And throughout the article, it's not saying Giannis is going to go. This is the entirely too early to have this conversation. That being said, if you're a Bucks fan, the front office, I am not looking at this as, oh, this is something necessarily to worry about. Did you see Mariah and Giannis? They just invested. They're doing a whole thing around bringing families together in Milwaukee, doing stuff for babies, bringing diapers.
Yeah.
His brand is partly in Milwaukee.
Watch the championship parade again instead of reading the article. That's what I said.
Who set the bar?
I thought the trophy ceremony was
Who
pretty
set
good.
the bar?
If I do
LeBron
say so
James,
myself.
right? A lot of guys follow LeBron James. Who reached $1 billion? Do we think he could have reached it if he went to LA?
Do you guys want to talk about the game?
Yes.
The actual game?
Yes,
Because the Bucks host the Lakers
I do.
tonight at 7:30 Eastern right here on ESPN. Milwaukee has lost 2 in a row and 7 of its last 10. I do want to say that this article, the interview was conducted in August, right?
Yeah.
So it's before any of those losses. But besides getting healthy, what do you think, Zach, the Bucks need to do to get back to their winning ways?
Nothing. Just get healthy. That's the whole question. They need Chris Middleton. They need Brook Lopez. Drew Holiday's back and ramping up. If they have those guys and Dante DiVincenzo, people forget about him, they're going to be fine. They just need to not fall too far behind so that they don't find themselves in a situation where their seed is like, oh, God, we got to play Brooklyn in the first round or the second round. That's
Brooklyn
all.
And it was okay last year.
They did, but you'd like to avoid.
Yeah, you want to be more than one toe away from
Yes.
Kevin Durant sending you home. Do you agree with Zach? It's just a matter of health, Perk?
No, it's bigger than that. Why? Because the conference has got stronger. Eastern Conference is better. And you don't want to fall too far behind like you just said, Zach. But guys got to step up. I still need to see more from Grayson Allen, not just on the offensive end, but defensively. I feel like Giannis playing more of the center position more than he ever has because Brook Lopez has been out. It's a different ball club. Yes, we saw it in spurts, but now how long is he going to have to play that position? Because the next tallest person that's playing the 5 position is either his brother or Portis.
Yeah. Well, look, everyone's saying the same thing. We all know that if Milwaukee is healthy,
don't get too far behind.
They're going to, but there's nothing you can control. You look around the league, some of the teams that might have struggled is because they were dealing with some health issues, right? You know, the Lakers were one of those teams. If you're looking at the top team in the East, projected in the top team in the West. So it's just like if they get healthy. If they don't get healthy, then they got issues. But everybody that's on their roster has a timetable to come back. Once they come back, then we can fully judge them.
Okay, so then who is the most important player in this game, Richard?
Well, it's Giannis, the guy that we want to hype up. It's Giannis. He does everything for them. He to me is as close to a LeBron James from the sense of all the things that he fills: rebounds, blocks, assists, steals, points. Like he just fills the stat sheet. So when he is rolling, that just helps the flow of their team.
Is it Giannis, Zach?
Not for me. For me, it's Russell Westbrook, and that's because I know what I'm getting from Giannis, and I know what I'm getting from AD. Russell Westbrook has had too many games this year where he's been actively damaging to the Lakers. You just can't turn the ball over this many times and shoot 40% from the field without harming your team a little bit. If he's bad, Russ, they're just not a very good team. If he's good, more efficient, Russ, they become a pretty good team even without LeBron. So for me, he's the most important player.
I think it's Anthony Davis. And here's why. Every time Anthony Davis has an opportunity to match up with Giannis, he should take it personal. Because about 3 years ago, we were having a conversation of who would you take. And I think over the past 3 years, I think Giannis has created a little bit of separation between. I'm trying to be nice,
okay.
RJ.
Okay.
I mean, he has created separation between him and Anthony Davis. So if Anthony Davis want to get back into that top-tier power forward conversation of superstardom, every time he faces Giannis, which is twice a year right now, he has to take that personal.
Well, the good news is that Russ, AD, and Giannis, all 3 of your picks, you can see the Bucks and the Lakers, all of them right here on ESPN tonight at 7:30 Eastern in the first game of our NBA doubleheader, and that's followed by the Mavs and the Suns. Phoenix has won 9 straight games. NBA Countdown will get it all started at 7 o'clock Eastern. Coming up on NBA Today, Klay Thompson has been cleared for full contact drills. What does that eventual return mean for the Warriors and the rest of the league?
A lot.
Dominated third quarters this season, outscoring opponents by 120.
That's a real stat.
That's a real stat.
Third quarter, yeah. That's the best scoring differential, no duh, by any team in any quarter this season by almost 50 points. And Golden State has been dominant in all phases, leading the league in offensive and defensive efficiency in the third. But I do want to flash back to Friday when we were in our Golden State discussion, and I asked the question, who's the most important Warrior not named Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, or Draymond Green? Here were your guys' answers. Who is the player on the team that isn't Steph Curry, Draymond, Klay, that is a key to their title run?
It's Andre Iguodala. Richard, fix your damn face, bro.
Okay, we get it. But it really comes down to Wiseman.
Golden State Warriors were better when Wiseman went down.
He was 19 years old.
Jay,
it takes time.
It sounds like to me that you're hating.
I can't wait to hear that.
That is MVP,
Zach,
Perk mentioned the right name for like a second, and the name is Andrew Wiggins. You guys can focus on the sexier names. I'll take the boring one because he's the one that means the most.
All right, Zach. Anyone want to change their answers? Are we sticking with it?
I'll stick with it. I've never stuck with Andrew Wiggins for anything, but I'll stick with him for this.
All right, we are doubling down on Andrew Wiggins. Perk?
I mean, look, when Andrew Wiggins got traded there, I said it was going to be the best thing for him and Golden State. But when Andre Iguodala went back this summer, it's a reason he went back.
Yeah.
He's that leader.
Hit that shot.
Yeah, but also it's a reason these third quarters are like the way that they are. Like last night when Steph Curry gets in foul trouble, Andre Iguodala comes in and runs the show along with Draymond Green.
Okay, now, I just showed Perk a couple of text messages from somebody, and the person that said, he's like, you're right. Wiseman is the key. If we can get high.
It was versus your mom. Your
No.
cousin,
Perk. No, we're not going. We don't.
Is it
like,
James Wiseman?
No. We don't. It was Wiseman. It was his parent. No, but Wiseman is the key because you know what you're going to get from everybody else. And Wiggins has stepped up. I would say Wiggins is close because you're kind of surprised at his performance. Jordan Poole, these guys, yes. But Wiseman is one of those guys. If he can come back and be like a contributor,
right.
and actually, and I'm not talking about like being that pick. I'm talking about rolling, replacing, defending, doing all of that versatile stuff.
So everybody is sticking.
I'm not changing.
All right,
I'm
we're
not
going to check
changing.
back in. We're going to check back in, especially.
Give me a guy that won finals
Especially
MVP.
one of the guys we said.
He didn't even say that.
Well, I don't care.
We got an update on Klay Thompson
Ooh,
from
let's
Steve
go.
Kerr after the game. Here's what he said.
Yeah, he played 5-on-5 yesterday, and then I think he's going to play 5-on-5 tomorrow. James did not play; he hasn't been cleared yet for 5-on-5, but Klay did. Got good reports, and he's got to keep going. A 2-year absence requires a lot of work. It's great that he's playing 5-on-5, but it doesn't mean he's going to be ready to step on an NBA floor next week or something.
We're not expecting him to be Klay Thompson of 2018 right away, but he's worked his ass off. So, he's worked his ass off for this moment, and I'm looking forward to getting him back out there.
I do want to play a game of fill in the blank with you guys, but first of all, I did just check Richard's phone, and it's legit.
It's legit. Thank you. It's
All
legit.
right. But I
Okay.
do want to play fill in the blank. So when Klay returns, Perk, the Warriors are.
If they stay healthy, are going to win the championship the way that they're playing.
That was it. One word? Did you say one word?
No.
Did you say one word?
I didn't say one
It
word.
said
I just
fill
said
in
they
the blank.
are. They
Fill in the
are.
blank?
Yeah.
That's a long blank. But yeah, they're scary. They're very scary.
They're
going-
scary.
Thing you said at the
They're
start.
scary.
All right. The blank.
Inner circle contenders. I can't put them above the fully actualized version of the Bucks, the Nets. If Jamal Murray comes back, if Kawhi comes back, all those teams are in the inner circle. But the Warriors might be better than all of them.
So, Perk, did you have a question that you wanted to pose to the group about Klay Thompson's return?
Well, I was just trying to figure out, when Klay Thompson comes back, somebody is going to have to go to the bench. Somebody's going to have to take a lesser role, whether it's Jordan Poole, Andrew Wiggins, because Klay is Klay. His mama called him Klay, I'm going to call him Klay.
I think it's Jordan Poole, but I don't even think he has to take a lesser role. I think he can lean into all the stuff he's doing even harder now, kind of running the second unit. And if Wiseman comes back, they're counting on the Poole-Wiseman pick and roll to be a big deal. I think they're going to continue to start Looney at center, even if it's just for 6 minutes a half or something, and so Jordan Poole becomes the sixth man. What's wrong with that, Perk?
When you take on that role,
Who's coming off the bench then?
When it is to a player like Klay,
Say
though,
it.
is there a level of respect that it's like, all right, I'm okay with coming off the bench in that scenario?
What is he fed up about?
I don't know.
It's just the Wiseman hype thing, right? And look, he has yet to prove himself. And
All I said was he's gonna screen and
we
roll.
keep going off of expectations. The Golden State Warriors don't run screen and roll, Zach.
They will when he's back.
They didn't do it when he was there last year.
I'm telling you,
The problem is they have a system, man. They have a system.
So
And
when Klay comes back, does that system because we have this core
Klay
that
fits right on in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
we're just talking about who goes to the bench. So
when that happens, right? When Klay slides right on in,
Yes.
is someone else when they move to the bench because it is for Klay because there is this understanding.
They can't start 6 guys.
So it's fine.
And let's be real.
They can't.
Somebody on that team, they see Klay Thompson, like they see Klay Thompson's
it's like,
coming.
okay.
Oh, when that bad
Yeah.
boy shows up, it's like, look, I love what Jordan Poole's doing, right? He could be up there for most improved player. He's doing he's doing a lot of things. But also, Klay Thompson is one of the greatest players to ever play the game of basketball. Did we forget some of the stuff that this dude has done?
What are you
Absolutely.
yelling for?
I'm yelling because I'm talking to you.
Well, I didn't say Klay. I didn't ask the question saying that Klay had to take a lesser role.
Klay
I
is
said
not
when he
taking a
comes
lesser
back.
role.
What are
Full
you
stop,
talking-
end of story. But he was cleared again to play in full contact. And Zach, just real quick, you've heard rumblings that he looks
Really good. When
Really
they were
good.
showing the montage, I was hearing like the Jaws theme in my head, like something's coming for the league.
Well, Golden State is coming for Cleveland tomorrow night to take on the Cavaliers, who actually play the Nets tonight. That is a tough back-to-back for a Cavs team that isn't quite healthy anymore. But coming up next, the Suns. They have rattled off 9 straight wins, and Richard Jefferson is going to do a
Just
little
call
bit
me
of a
Richard.
deep dive. I don't want to. Into why Phoenix has been successful. Keep it locked. Richard.